In this video, we're going to be going to my friend Mike Moore's house. Mike has been collecting wine for around 30 years now, and he has an amazing wine collection. He's agreed to give us a tour. He has 3,000 bottles in his collection, and it's not just quantity over quality. There's some amazing bottles in his cellar, and just wait until you see what he uses for wine cellar defenders. Mike is also going to be sharing a little bit about his wine journey along the way. So let's get started. Why is wine important to you?
What a good question. Why is wine important to me? Good grief. You know, I grew up half Italian, half Irish, John, on the south side of Chicago. And there was wine on our table since I was a little boy. I'll never forget this. My parents said, listen, when your friends are wanting to go out with you and you're going to want to drink beer and do it in hiding, you want to drink, you drink in front of us at our home. But as I got older, I really started getting into like different kinds of wines, and my brother got into wine before I did. And one Christmas, he opened a bottle of Trockenbeeren Auslese, which is a German wine made from the Riesling grape. And I tasted this. This is not wine. He goes, no, this is wine. I go, this tastes like candy. He goes, well, they let the grapes shrivel on the wine till they become raisins. Then they squeeze it, then they ferment it, and that's what you're tasting. From that moment on, 1995, 30 years ago, I just slowly got into wine. Got into NAPA cabs, understood the taste. It was like a bug that get into you. The knowledge for how they grow, why they grow, the soil types, the different weather patterns, different grapes grow better in different soils. I was enamored with this. So I went on this long journey to really understand wine. Now that's a long answer to your question, but that's how I got that bug, John.
Well, Mike, maybe we could go ahead and get a look at your cellar and you can tell us about it.
You ready for the walk in? Hold on, I think Prince wants to walk us into the cellar. You gonna walk us in? I've been trying to get him to drink wine, John. It ain't happening.
Does he smell it at all? Or?
No, yeah, I put a little bit in this water. He walks away from the water, but he's not going to be a wine dog. Okay, let's check it out. By the way, just FYI, it comfortably will hold about 2,800 bottles, comfortably 2,700. I've got almost 3,000 in here, so it's going to look a little cluttered, you know, so kind of let's walk in and check it out.
And it looks like this is below the staircase. Is that right?
Yeah, I built it, you know, when we did the design, we put it down 18 inches, and then we went underneath the staircase because that's wasted space, so why not use it?
Yeah,
okay?
No, that's very smart. Excellent. So when did you build this? How long ago?
Built this in 2008. So was that 17 years? Yeah, so 17 years ago. And, you know, started collecting and different things. And I arranged the cellar. Like I said, it's a little stuffy right now, so bear with me. But we do it by region. So I got my Italian on the top left. I got French on the other side of it. And then underneath, we got Californian French. And all the wine that I'm aging, John, I put underneath the cellar in boxes. So I can just let it, just let it sit there. Now, all of this I have categorized on a computer, so I know where everything is at, right? This is one of the things that I love the most is I got into Amarone, and which is northeast Italy in Verona, in that area. And what I love about Amarone is when they take the grapes, and it's called the appassimento method, and they take these grapes and they dry them out on straw mats in a humid area, blowing fans across it, and it dehydrates the grapes, so they get kind of half raisiny and still have some juice in it. They squeeze these and they make Amarone out of it. And these things can be sitting for 30 and 40 years, John, and they still taste amazing. So I got into the high-end Amarones, Quintarelli, Giuseppe Quintarelli, and Romano del Forno, who are probably the grandfathers of Amarone.
Yeah, always special wines, both of those two.
Special wines. And so have been collecting. I can't make this statement for sure, but I would probably think that I have one of the top Amarone collections. I know in Texas, maybe not the United States, but I have tons of years on Quintarelli and Romano del Forno going all the way back to the early 90s.
Very cool. So any other regions or categories that you're particularly proud of or that you like collecting?
Yeah, somebody asked me, they go, what's your favorite wine? I go, well, that's a tough one to answer. But I said a better question would be, Mike, what if you had to spend the rest of your life in one country and that's all you could drink the rest of your life, the wines that are made in that country, where would you live? I go, that's easy for me. Now some people are going to go, oh, no, I can't believe you said that. But it would be Italy.
Okay.
I think Italy, there's 20 regions in Italy from north to south, and they have an expanse, probably the most amazing white wines in the world you'll ever drink. But there's such a diversity of soil, such a diversity of grapes, that there's so much to experience there. I would say Italy.
Yeah, you have thousands of different grapes, so you can't go wrong that way.
Yeah, crazy. And here's another country that I just really finished studying is Spain. And Spain is just still so underrated, John. But they got some of the best juice. La Rioja, amazing wines coming from there. Castilla y León, which is the Ribera del Duero area. And definitely Catalunya, which is where some of the top Priorat wines. There's some amazing wines with Grenache and Carignan. Those two grapes together make some amazing, and they're not that expensive. Yeah. And so I think for me, John, to find wines, now this may sound crazy to some people, let me share it. To find $100 bottle of wine or $125 bottle of wine in Spain that drinks exactly or close to $1,000 Napa Valley wine, that's my goal. I love to be able to find those gems.
Yeah, that's exciting for sure. Yeah, lots of exciting wines from Priorat. I also, in terms of Spanish white wines, I really like some of the Godello as well.
Oh, very good. Up in Galicia, in that area, yeah.
And as you can probably tell, Mike is an absolute wealth of knowledge concerning wine. In addition to his level 4 diploma, he also is a wine scholar 3 times over. So he has French, Italian, and Spanish wine scholar credentials. So certainly very impressive. Mike, are there some prize collectible wines that you have? I know you already talked about your Amarone, but any other special bottles you'd like to share with us?
I love these questions that you're asking me what's my favorite and all, but I have a wine that's underneath behind these 15 boxes that I can't get to. I'd show it to you. It's a 1982 Petrus. It's an amazing wine. The 1982 Petrus, 100% Merlot, right? In a blind tasting, I tried 3 wines. I tried a Petrus. I tried a Massetto, which is from Italy, an area in Tuscany, Bulgari, right in that area, Maremma, that whole area, produces some amazing Merlot. And then another producer, John, called Baffanero. Amazing winery. They got their own hotel there. It's a beautiful area overlooking the sea. But here's what I wanted to say. Baffanero threw the gauntlet down against Massetto, which is the top Merlot grown in probably Italy. I mean, it's one of the top Merlots in the world. So they threw the gauntlet down. They said, we're going to have a blind tasting. So they had this really cool thing. I mean, it was all in fun and games, right? And they had some of the best wine tasters sit down. So they did 5 different wines. 3 times Baffanero beat Massetto in a blind tasting same years. Amazing, right? So if someone were to ask me, do I love Petrus? Obviously, it's one of the best, wines in the world. But if I had to choose what's coming out of my faucet every night for the rest of my life, it would be Massetto or Baffanero. I think the Italian Merlots for the price point versus Petrus. And John, we both know this being in the business as long as we have. Some people just pay for a name, right? But look at the price as well, because I like to buy those gems that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about some high-end wines, but do you have any wine cellar defenders or wines that you like to enjoy kind of on a more regular basis that will keep you from digging into some of your prized wines?
Yeah, I got some. Matter of fact, let me can I put one down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like this is one, the Biserno. It's made by the Antonori family. Lodicava is one of their, I don't know if that's the brand they call it now. You probably know a little bit more about
Antonori.
Lodovico, yeah.
Yep, he's the founder of Ornellaia, and this is his second project.
Yeah, and these wines are, I mean, these are only, what, $250? About, listen, some people are going to be watching that and go, only $250, right? But compared, Mamma Mia, these drink so well. Here's another sleeper, the San Pellegrino Brunello 2012. This was like $80. John, the taste, because it's a 13-year-old Brunello. 2012, was that the best year for Brunello? No, but it's the aging on this grape that brings it to what it tastes like today. Here's another one, John, from northeast Italy by Schiappetto, and it's made with the Refosco grape. I never heard of the Refosco grape till I started studying this, and it's just absolutely amazing, and it's what, $90, compared, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'd say, these are some of the wines that I can go to on a daily basis, having dinner. You pour a nice glass, thief it, at the Corvin or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of how I look. I want those gems. I want to drink those gems.
Plus, you mentioned Rioja earlier, and that's always a great choice as well.
Huge. I mean, the Tempranillo grape, the soil it grows in the winemaking methods, it's just, they're making some amazing wine. There's a lot to be said at what can come out of these countries.
And what made you decide to build your own home cellar?
Because it's kind of nice. I can walk in there, having a party, having a dinner, have my clients or my friends choose a wine, and we get to enjoy it together. And I think that's the key for me. Wine, John, is a connector. It connects people. I remember being at a party one time, and we were talking, a very serious conversation with 4 businessmen. And the host came over and said, "Hey, here's a glass of wine." So we took this wine, and I started to drink this wine. And everybody were talking, they were drinking the wine. I go, guys, stop. Did you drink this wine? Oh, yeah. I go, stop. Taste the wine. When you drink a good bottle of wine, and that isn't the topic of conversation, you don't understand wine, or you don't know what you're drinking, or it's not a good wine. Because everybody, when you drink an amazing wine, that's what you talk about. You go, stop.
Every once in a while, we'll get a comment where someone will say, "Why do you collect wine? Wine is meant to be consumed and enjoyed." How would you respond to people that say that?
That question is probably the best question anybody could ask. Now, am I collecting because my wine cellar is going to triple in price? No. Are some of my wines in there 3 and 4 times what I paid for them? Yes. Does that mean I can go onto the open market and get 3 or 4 times? No, because somebody's going to buy it, they're going to give me half of what it's worth. So it's more an enjoyment. It's something that wine people, if you're really into this, they enjoy doing this. It's just an enjoyment factor.
And a lot of
Prince,
you've got a co-host now, so
yeah, that's right. We got a co-host. That would be funny. That would be a good part of it.
So, Mike, are there any features in your wine cellar that you included that you're particularly happy that you included?
To conserve the space I have them 2 deep underneath the counter. So I have a counter, that has every, like a marble top on it that I can look at the wines if I'm going to take some, look at it and taste it. And then underneath it's a double, they're kind of little cubby holes, if you will. You can put magnums, you can put, 750s and put 2 in there at one time. So that really helps me on both sides. Then on top, I have them in big, huge V's, as you saw, where I can stack cases of wine that are the same vintage, same, producer, etc. So that's kind of was important. Then underneath the stairs, that space is all for aging. Yeah, that's kind of some of the things that were important to me. And I made sure it was a step down. So it's about 18 to 24 inches as you walk down into the cellar from the foundation, and it then goes underneath the stairs. So it gives it more of kind of a cava look to it, and then you can tell we used Mexican tile for the flooring, and we painted the walls like a real kind of a chocolate brown to give it kind of a cave look.
Of course, hindsight is 20/20, and after you work with the Cellar for probably 17 years like you have, I'm wondering if there's anything that you wish you would have included but did not.
I wish it was bigger. Because it doesn't matter. I'd have filled it up, right? So I'm glad it's probably the size it is, because I just keep filling the thing up. John, there's always something you could have done. I mean, I would have made the wall as you walk in, and on the side, I'd have made that a glass wall so you could see it as you walked in. But you don't know that when you're building it and you're trying to design it.
A lot of people want to know what temperature different people keep for their cellar. Do you keep it at 55, or is there a different temperature that you use? Because it gets really, really hot here in the summer in Dallas.
Yeah, I keep it at 55 degrees. That's really everybody says, well, if you keep it at 70 degrees, you'll ruin your wine. Look, that's not true. You keep your wine at 70 degrees at room temperature, maybe it ages a little faster. It's not going to go bad. Everybody says, it's going to go. No, it's not. If it's at 65, if it's 70, if it's 68, I keep it at 55. It's a cool temperature. By the time I pull it out and I cork it and let it breathe, it will probably move up to about 65 to 68. That's the temperature I like to drink it at. But I like to keep it cool because it kind of dwarfs the aging period, if you will, for a little bit. And the humidity at 70%. Because that cork can swell either way. And you don't want it to get so dry where the cork will decrease and the wine will start to seep out, especially if you have your bottles laying on the side.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you do to actively control the humidity, or is that just naturally in range?
No, it's a great question. I have a system, but it's a 1-ton unit, and it's separate, and it controls from the attic just that room, controls humidity level, and controls temperature. So it's 55 degrees for 17 years. Now, obviously it's broken at times, it goes down, it needs Freon, all that stuff. But yeah, that's kind of how we keep it.
Okay. Do you have a redundant unit in case the compressor goes out?
Yeah, the compressor goes out, then I got to get something in real quick.
Okay.
But if the electricity goes down, I have a generator for the backup for the house, and that's included on that.
Okay, great. Is your wine covered by your homeowner's insurance policy, or do you need a separate insurance policy for your wine?
Great question. So first of all, I have my wine. There's a lot of programs out there. I use Excel, do it myself. Every time I pull a bottle of wine out of my cellar or add one, first thing I do, go to the computer and update my file. And I got a backup on that. Then I sent that to Chubb. Chubb does the insurance for my home. It's part of my homeowners. I've taken videos of everything in the cellar, my sheet and the whole bit, so I got that backed up with Chubb.
Okay, great. Yeah, they do a good job with that. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking about building a home wine cellar?
First of all, if you're just beginning, I would say start small. Get yourself one of those Sub-Zero, what do they call those, John? Those Sub-Zero wine coolers?
Yeah, they have a couple different ones like Lacage and some of those others.
And you can, either you can go 2 deep in them or 1 deep, and you can hold 40 bottles or 60 bottles. Here's what I say, start there. And if you see yourself liking wine and putting it in and enjoying a bottle at night with your family or however you do that, and you get into the habit, this is really big, it's that habit. You go, yeah, I'm really liking this, I need more space. But start with that, because a lot of people I see, they build these homes with these huge wine cellars, that can hold, 2,000, 3,000 bottles, and it's beautiful, but Johnny never use it. And they fill it up, the wine goes bad, they don't know what they're putting in their cellar, and they're wasting all this money, and it becomes more like artwork that's something that they can enjoy. So I'd say start small and see if that's something that you catch that bug where you want to get it bigger and bigger. And people say, well, I want some kind of cellar. I said, start with your closet. Take a closet, have somebody come in that can build a nice wine unit for you, maybe house 200-300 bottles, and see if that works. And take it up in stages instead of trying to take the whole thing at one time.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. That's actually how I started as well. I enjoyed having the opportunity and flexibility to just grab a different bottle of wine depending on what was for dinner. And I really enjoyed it. And so I took things up from there. But it was definitely a good first step. You have a lot of people from New York who watch the channel. It's my understanding you also do the motivational speaking, and you actually talked to the Yankees a while back.
Yeah, the Yankees. I talked to the New York Yankees back in the late 90s. Yeah, Darryl Strawberry was on the team. You know, I remember I walked in and I'm looking at the New York Yankees, and all I wanted to do, John, was get their autograph. I became an 8-year-old immediately, right? But I had an opportunity to share some things with them, and it was really, really powerful. So yeah, I love to speak. If I can, let me share some other things. Besides being a businessman, I'm a businessman in Dallas. I'm in mergers and acquisitions, been doing private equity and M&A almost 36 years. And I really, really enjoy what I'm doing. But one of my other hobbies besides wine is I write books. I've been an author now for about, 12 years. And I've written 6 books so far. And let me just show you a few. It's a series. It's kind of funny, but they're really good books. One's called Love God, Hate Church, Love God, Make Money, Love God, Get Divorced. Now, everybody, you're going to look at those titles and go, what? All a play on words. And it's just been a real passion of mine to be able to explain to business associates and people that I know that the unconditional love of God through Jesus has changed my life. And I'm not ashamed to share this and write about that.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for doing this. Everyone loves these cellar tours, and you certainly have a great collection. And thanks very much for taking the time and sharing your knowledge with us.
Thanks, John.
If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more of my wine cellar tour videos, please be sure to check out this video that's linked above.